Good afternoon, Daryl. How are you?
Catherine, I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. Thank you for joining me this afternoon on the Plot podcast. We met very recently, and I can't quite figure out how we've both been in the industry for too long and never met properly before. So it was a pleasure to add you to my little black book.
That's what happens when you sculpt in corners, you see, Catherine.
Exactly. I'm going to ask you some very light, easygoing questions for a Monday afternoon, but for the very few people in the industry who don't already know you or know of you, just tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, of course. So, Daryl Bennett, my ridiculous title is Senior Regional Director, London and Dublin, for Go City. So that's the world's largest sightseeing pass company. We operate passes in 27 cities globally, and I have specific responsibility for, as my title suggests, London and Dublin. I have been in the travel industry my entire professional career, and that's now spanning 35 years and counting. 35 years. I started when I was six. And I've done a bit of everything: inbound, outbound tour operating. I've worked for attraction partners, attractions. I've worked for car hire company, and I've been at Go City for just over 6 years in my
Wow.
current role.
Amazing. And so I'm going to get straight into my first question because I think it tells you a lot about a person, and I'm sure it'll open up some other questions as well. What's the one thing that would really make your life easier?
So this is a weird one. This really will be a reflection on me and my technophobia, I guess, is I would just love to be able to go back to one method of communication. I spend most of my day going, did I see that messenger in that message in Messenger? Did I see it as a WhatsApp message? Did I see it as an email? Was it a Teams call? Was it something it's just like, just send me one message using one channel of communication and also stick to the same one, whether
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
personally or professionally. I get so
yeah.
frustrated, mostly personally, actually, with friends. It's like, choose one, but don't send me a text or an email or a WhatsApp message or Messenger or just something on Facebook. It's like, again, show my age, Instagram, TikTok. But yeah, it's just like that whole thing of let's go back to writing letters, shall we?
Just simplify things.
And
I
it's
I remember many years ago we did a challenge in the business I was in at the time where we had certain days where you did no email, and it was supposed to encourage you to pick up the phone and
yeah,
find alternative ways of solving problems rather than just firing off emails left, right, and centre. And I was so proud of myself. Got to almost half five, and I was like, that was so much easier than I thought. And then without even thinking about it, I sent an email by accident and ruined
it,
my whole efforts. But
oh,
I'm with you, and I'm definitely someone who's guilty of using all the channels and then having to search them by keyword to try and find
yeah,
where that message was.
yeah. And listen, I think it's brilliant that there are so many different ways that we can get hold of somebody, but it's just that moment where you go, I've definitely seen it, but I can't remember where it is, and then you have to trawl through everything. Yeah, and
Which one would
then
you pick then?
see, I'm old-fashioned, so I'm much better with emails.
So you're
I've
not a
been used
voice
to
note?
no,
No?
emails are my thing. Teams, I don't mind Teams messages if it's kind of
Yeah.
instantaneous. You need a quick response to something, but don't send me a Teams message if you want me to kind of action that later or
Yeah.
you
Yeah, because you're
provide
never going to find it
crucial
again.
information. Just give me an email because I've learned how to file emails.
They can find them again.
Yes, exactly. So
And
that would be the one thing that would make my but personal and professional life easier. Just
I promise to only ever email you, Daryl.
fine, no problem. Or
And
you can just write a letter.
unless I really want something, and I'll send you a voice notes on WhatsApp until you reply.
I don't think I would never reply to a voice note on WhatsApp ever. Just so you know.
Um, Tell me what your calendar's been like this year. What have you been to, whether that's trade events or launches or openings or shows that's been particularly notable in the industry?
So in the industry. So I was just thinking about this. I'm really lucky. I've been working in the industry for a very long time. The role that I have allows me and gives me access to some of the most extraordinary things that, how do I put this? Members of the general public wouldn't get an opportunity to go to. Whether that's something as simple as, but as special as the launch of a new attraction, exhibition, museum, whatever. So last week we went to the launch of MoCo Museum in London, Marble Arch. It's absolutely an exquisite gallery, and is a brilliant new thing to have on the landscape in London. Earlier this year, I got invited again to the Hampton Court Music Festival, but it's an opportunity to sit down and have dinner in the Great Hall with the great and the good of the travel industry. Thank you, Anne Wilson. Shout out to HRP and Anne Wilson. And then just to go on to a concert afterwards, and it was Deacon Blue, so it was a throwback to my student days, showing my age. And then just last week, kind of completely out of the blue, I got an invitation from Hard Rock Cafe London. We work with them; they're featured on one of our passes, and I couldn't quite believe it was true. But it's like, would you like to come to an acoustic session with John Legend at the Hard Rock Cafe London? And it's like,
oh my gosh,
yes. I'm never going to say no to that. And I kept going. Is it the real John Legend? Is it, or is it just a tribute act? Is it? And I literally got there, and my contact just happened to be outside, and I went, is it the real John Legend? She went, yes, of course it is. It was an extraordinary 40-minute session, just in the really intimate surroundings of the front room of the Hard Rock Cafe in London, with John Legend on the piano singing songs for us. It was fabulous.
You call this a job, Daryl? I think it's a stretch.
If I did that all day, every day, then yeah, I would be lying. It's not a job.
It would be nice, wouldn't it? Just
absolutely. I know for a fact that these are privileges and chances that are not afforded to everybody, and I don't ever take them for granted. There are proper
I can tell in your personality that you appreciate every opportunity that comes your way. It's nice.
You can get jaded. You're lucky enough to get to lots of things, and lots of receptions and lots of events where there's drinks and canapes, and they're always in extraordinary places. I mean, even not stupid things. Let's scratch that. Even something as standard as the UK inbound general meeting, which we had at the beginning of this month. It was at the Queen's House in Royal Museums Greenwich, outside in one of the little kind of covered areas, a little string quartet playing. It's like, it doesn't get better than that, does it? Just to have those opportunities to stand at a UNESCO World Heritage Site, sipping a glass of champagne, having someone bring you a canapé, chatting with your mates from the travel industry.
Yeah. I mean, we are a very lucky bunch to work in this sector, that's for sure. So let's talk about the actual work. Tell me something that's been on your to-do list for far longer than it should have been.
So going back to the whole thing of emails and communication. So I use my inbox as my to-do list.
Yeah.
So I get a bit stressed if there's more than about 40 emails in my inbox at any one time. Some people kind of go 40, yeah.
Okay.
Some people are like, I've got 4,000 in there, and others are like, I can't have more than 3. But yeah, so my inbox is my to-do list, and as I said, get a bit stressed if there's more than about 40, because that means there's something in there that's been lingering for longer than it should have, and we're all guilty of putting something in the too difficult pile. And so here we go. Here's my guilty secret, if you like. I have to do a lot of contracting as part of my job, not just negotiating rates and that, but actually reading through contracts when people have come back and kind of question information that you send out to them. So there are a couple of contracts that have probably been in there too long, longer than they should have been, but I absolutely have to be in the right frame of mind to deal with those. You've got to sit down, have the luxury of maybe having an afternoon where there's nothing else, nothing to distract you, and you're prepared to not just cut through your own organization's legalese, but often then when somebody else's legal team has come back and questioned it, it's like, no, I did a degree in French. I didn't do a degree in law, and it's like, yeah, yes, that sounds good to
And they're
me.
not standard, are they? They're all so different and they're all so nuanced, and you've got to get it right and you've got to read every single
Yeah,
letter and line, haven't you?
and that's the thing. And then also, I hate tracked changes documents, especially when they start going backwards and forwards. It's like, what iteration are we on now?
And
So
you can't tell what's an amendment, what's a suggestion, what was there to start with.
no, no, exactly. It's like, oh God, okay. But anyway, so yeah, so that's I have a couple of contracts. Apologies to those people who might be waiting on responses from me, sitting in my inbox that have been there too long.
I think you'd be forgiven for leaving those till last. I think lots of people will be in the same company as you are with reading small print.
And that's what it
So
is. It's
if you had an extra day in the week, I assume you wouldn't invest it in reading long contracts. What would you do with it? How would you make it worthwhile?
so this is a weird one. So down the non-professional route, and this is really boring, Catherine. I'm sorry about this. It's really dull. I would probably just make sure that I use it to catch up on laundry and ironing and all of those jobs that eat into my weekend time.
Yes,
If I could
yeah.
just have one day a week was just set aside, because there is nothing more infuriating than getting up on Sunday morning going, right, I've now got to spend an hour and a half making clothes flat to
Mm.
wear them again, to wash them again, to make them flat again. It's just like a never ending. So I apologize for the fact that it's completely boring and uninteresting, but it would be to clear all of those mundane jobs that you don't want to have to do at the weekend.
Just have a Cinderella day.
That's what we'll call it, a Cinderella day.
There you go. Well, if you
Yeah.
discover how to add an eighth day into the week,
Oh
then
God,
you've got a
I'll let you
name
know.
for it.
You'll be the first to know, Catherine. Don't worry. Yes, it'll come shortly after my resignation letter. Because if I can create an eighth day,
I mean,
I'm
that's it.
selling it.
You've made it in life. You've
Yeah,
made it in
absolutely.
life.
Yeah,
I'm with
yeah, yeah.
you. I hate the domestic chores. I hate the Sunday evening kind of, okay, who's where, what's happening this week? Because if you don't do it, then you're surrounded by it all week, aren't you? Especially if you're
Yeah,
working from home, it's just a constant reminder that you didn't do it on Sunday.
total. So my husband and I have got have a fairly regular pattern, or well, of going to the pub on Sunday, but we'll use that as an opportunity just to do a diary check and it's like, okay,
Yes.
what are you doing this week? When are you home? What nights are you out? When are we out? He works in the industry as well. When are we at the same event together? What food do we need to make sure we've got in for the rest of the week?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then one of you goes to Aldi and the other one does the ironing.
Catherine, neither of us goes to hell.
Why am I not surprised?
And in fairness, it is always me that does the ironing, so that's fine. That's why I want that extra day.
Talking of routines and days in the week, what's your morning
Yeah.
routine? Are you up at the crack of dawn or are you out of bed 5 minutes before you need to be
Um,
somewhere? I have a
No.
guess, but I'm going to ask you.
So I'm up reasonably early. I'm up usually about an hour to an hour and a half earlier than I need to be, if that makes sense. So I like to give
Mhm.
myself time in the morning, probably about an hour before I need to either get to my desk or leave to go to the office. I'm not, I don't particularly fill that time well, but I have to have a cup of tea. Can't function without a cup of tea in the morning. And I'll just use it to do some little bits of life admin. I'm not going to
Yeah,
lie, I'll use it to do a little bit of social media catch up, all the
yeah,
rest. Make sure that I've wished everybody a happy birthday on Facebook, all of those
priorities.
stupid little things. Check my personal emails just to, to make sure.
Yeah,
And then I will always make sure that I catch up on the news, proper
yeah,
news, on the TV or on the radio. No, never on the radio, on the TV, so I know what's going on in the world.
yeah,
Um, and because I'm a Londoner, I will always also just check the tubes and the weather.
yeah,
Yeah, but I will give myself easily an hour from getting up to when I absolutely have either, as I said, I have to go to my desk or leave a flat to go to the office.
The most important element in there was the cup of tea. I'm
Cup of
exactly the
tea.
same. I'm a two cup though before I can start my day. So, what's your tea of choice? This is very important to me.
Oh, so I'm not too fussy about my tea, so it's just Tesco's own. Quite
Oh,
happy with Tesco.
interesting.
So listen, so I grew up in my dad was in the RAF. We grew up in the services, and we were brought up on NAFI tea.
Yeah.
It's the services um, stores, which was, I think, possibly the strongest tea known to mankind. So the joke was you could just leave your spoon standing up in it. So grew up with really strong kind of generic tea. So don't have
Yeah.
a particularly refined palate when it comes to. I'm not opening up the Lapsang Souchong or the orange
No.
pekoe first thing in the morning. But yeah, tea, one sugar, which I always feel a bit embarrassed about because it just feels childish. Quite strong. And Saturday or Sunday mornings, always two teas, always. When there's the
Yes. I
luxury
think
to have more than one cup of tea, lovely.
if you've got the time, I think you know that you're winning with your daily routine when there's two cups of tea in quick succession,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
that
And then
you drink them both hot.
yeah, yes. The first one hasn't gone stone cold, so you have to make yourself another cup of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have got in, and I don't know when this started, got into a very weird routine. If I'm in the office, um, then about 11 o'clock, leave the desk, go to the local coffee shop and get a flat white. And those are the only
Okay.
hot drinks I have all day.
Oh, really? So you're someone who doesn't kind of have more caffeine later in the day?
No, no. I will just stick to stuff in the morning to keep me going. Yeah.
Amazing. You have quite a structured routine. I thought that would be the case. I thought you'd have your little rituals.
Yeah, I do. I quite like routine. I like it when I can disrupt the routine because there's nothing worse than kind of it starting to get mundane and starting to
Yes,
get
yeah,
a bit tedious. So if I can find an opportunity to disrupt that routine sometimes, then it's like you're okay to get back on the horse again. And
yeah,
again, the job that I have and the fact that I look after 106 attractions in London, I can always find an excuse if I'm in central London or if I'm working from home to go and visit an attraction partner or go and check out something new that we don't feature on our
yeah.
park before.
Change of scenery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that helps with productivity, like being out and about a lot?
Yeah, I think so because I think change and diversity are the things that kind of switch your brain around a little
Yeah,
bit.
I
Um,
agree.
so and so it kind of takes your mind off something that might have been, we've all had those tasks or been in that situation where it's like you just can't think because you're so focused on the job at hand and you're just not getting anywhere with it. So switch to another task or do something else, and suddenly the solution comes to you.
Yes.
Yeah, while you're in Aldi. Uh, and then I have the added advantage that because I also look after Dublin, that if I've got a London centric problem that I haven't been able to solve or get
Mm,
my head around, I can just switch to thinking about Dublin for a little while, and then the London problem
come
seems
back
to
to
solve
it.
itself. Yeah.
Are you a bookworm? Do you like audiobooks, podcasts? How do you digest information?
I am a bookworm on holiday,
Yeah.
so I can rattle through 4 or 5 books in a week if I'm on
Oh
holiday,
my
because that's
gosh.
all. But I don't. That's all I do. I use that opportunity just to kind of lie by the pool, read a book,
Yeah.
drink a cold beer, and I am happy as Larry. I'm not a big podcast fan. There's a few that I kind of regularly listen to. My husband's much better at it, and so we'll listen to those in the car when we're traveling around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've never got my head around audiobooks.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm a 1.5 speed audiobook person, so I get through a couple of books a week, but
right.
because I listen to them on double speed, which most people who know me think is the most ridiculous thing to do because it's quite fast.
Yeah,
But I like the pace of it. And now when I listen to things on normal speed, I'm like, they speak slow, and then I remember why.
you've got it all speeded up. Yeah, but I'm a bit of a TV junkie, so I will just get my entertainment and my kind of information overload from TV. I
Yeah.
try not to watch too much trash TV, but if it's got, drag race at the end of it, then there's no stopping me. But I also would sit down and kind of watch something quite serious. Or I love kind of quiz shows where you learn stuff, where you find out more information. The slightly more intellectual ones.
Yeah.
Happy to
No, I
sit
know what
down
you
and watch
mean.
them. Quite happy to sit down and watch Mastermind and battle my way through the general knowledge questions with the
Brilliant.
contestants.
So you're good at a pub quiz, are you?
I'm good at a pub quiz. Yes, I have this ability to retain really useless information and to be able to pull it out of the hat at a moment's notice. So yes, a lot of people, a lot of my friends have me on their phone a friend list should they ever go on Millionaire.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I shall wait for that time for your moment of fame. In the more immediate future, where am I likely to see you in person over the next couple of months? Which events will you be at?
So the most immediate one will be the UK Inbound Convention up in
Yeah.
Liverpool, which starts next week, I think. Yeah, that'll be the 23rd, 24th, 25th, around there. And they're always really great events, really well organized, lots of
They are
interesting
good.
kind of information and data, but a great opportunity to do some proper networking on
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
the speed meeting situations, and then some slightly less formal networking in the evenings with just, I think, the most terrific bunch of people in the industry. And then, I mean, not long after that, I'm off to Dublin
Yeah.
to the AVIA conference. So that's the
Yeah.
Association for Visitor Experiences and Attractions for Ireland. So they've got their annual conference in Kilkenny in the middle of October. And then, of course, it's World Travel Market.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this year.
I know. And will you be there all 3 days, or
I
do
will
you
definitely
pick
be
a
there
day
Tuesday,
and do it
Wednesday.
all?
Definitely be there Tuesday, Wednesday. It's an opportunity for us to catch up with some of our own work colleagues from around the world.
Yeah.
And obviously for me to catch up with some of my attraction partners. But yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, definitely. Thursday, we'll see.
Depends what's on the Wednesday evening.
Depends how much networking I've done on the Wednesday evening. Yes.
Diplomatic answer. Daryl, I've really enjoyed chatting to you and finding out a bit more about you. I think it's a brilliant window into your world. So I know next time it's a Tesco tea.
Yeah,
I know only to send you an email. I'm waiting for you to be someone's phone a friend and find the eighth day in the week. So no shortage of things to keep in touch about.
absolutely. And as soon as I do find that eighth day a week, I'll let you know.
It's going to be fun. Thank you so much, Daryl. It's been
Thanks,
really good
Catherine.
fun.
It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks.